The first thing Elena Marquez saw when she opened her eyes was her own face screaming on 1,000 phone screens. Hanley Street, 2:17 a.m., air thick as soup, and every single person in the crowd was holding their camera up like a torch, filming her while she knelt in the gutter, shirt half open, milk still dripping from her breast, golden light fading from her skin like dying embers. A stranger's lips, cold only seconds ago, pulled away from her nipple with a soft pop. The man who had been dying stood tall now, eyes glowing like molten coins, staring at her with something between worship and hunger. Someone in the crowd whispered, She just breastfed a homeless dude, and he's glowing. Another voice laughed, cruel and sharp. World star. Elena's hands shook as she yanked her jacket closed. The glowing man pressed a black card into her palm and whispered, You passed, then vanished into the night before the sirens arrived. By the time Elena stumbled to her feet, the video already had 300,000 views and her life, as she knew it, was over. But hey, before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss out on more intense stories like this. Stick with us to the end. I promise you won't want to miss what's coming. Elena ran, sneakers slapping wet pavement, breath burning, milk soaking through her bra and shirt in two dark circles that made strangers stare even harder. She didn't stop until she reached the stoop of her mother's building in the projects, collapsing against the buzzer with trembling fingers. Rosa's voice crackled through the speaker.
Elena?
Are you making all that noise? It's me, Ma. Let me in, please. The door buzzed. Elena took the stairs 2 at a time, burst into the apartment, and slammed every lock behind her. Rosa stood in the hallway in her robe, arms crossed, eyes wide. Lila was screaming in the bedroom, the hungry wail that always came when Elena was late. Rosa took one look at her daughter's soaked shirt, the wild panic in her eyes, the trembling hands, and whispered, Lord Jesus, what did you do? Elena couldn't speak yet. She pushed past her mother, went straight to the bedroom, scooped Lila up and sat on the edge of the bed. The second Lila latched on, the crying stopped. Silence rushed in like cold water. Rosa hovered in the doorway. Your face is everywhere, Mija. Church group chat blowing up. Somebody sent me the video. You fed a grown man in the street. In front of everybody. I know what it looks like, Elena rasped. It looks like you lost your mind. It wasn't. Elena's voice cracked. He was dying, Ma. I felt it. And then something left me and went into him. And he stood up. And his eyes glowed. And now the whole internet thinks I'm a freak. Rosa crossed herself twice. You come home, you shower, you sleep. Tomorrow we pray on it. There might not be a tomorrow. Elena pulled the black card from her pocket with shaking fingers. The silver letters shimmered, rearranging themselves into English right in front of Rosa's eyes. 3 days. The Eclipse Theater. 9 p.m. Come alone. Your daughter's life depends on it. Rosa's hand flew to her mouth. Who gave you that? The man I saved. You didn't save anybody, Rosa hissed. You made a deal with the devil. Elena's phone started vibrating so hard it danced across the nightstand. Notifications stacked on top of each other. Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok,
Facebook. All the same clip, remixed, slowed down, zoomed in on her exposed breast, on the golden light, on the stranger's glowing eyes. Comments rolled like floodwater. This some which sh*t. Sane or Satan? She is glowing FR? World star gone biblical.
Somebody check on that baby.
Elena powered the phone off and pressed her forehead to Lila's tiny head, breathing in baby shampoo smell and milk. I don't know what I am anymore, she whispered. But I know they're coming for her. Rosa sat heavily on the bed. Then we leave tonight. We take Lila, and we go to Teresa in Tennessee. They'll find us. How do you know that? Because the card just changed again. Elena held it up. The silver script now read, 71 hours, 59 minutes.
A countdown.
Rosa stared at it like it might bite her. We call the police. They won't believe me. We call Father Michael. Ma, a priest can't help with this. Then who can? Elena had no answer. Morning came too fast. Elena hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt that stranger's mouth again, felt something ancient and burning pour out of her body into his. Her breasts ached worse than ever, heavy and hot, like they were filling with something denser than milk. She stood under the shower until the water ran cold, trying to scrub the memory off her skin. Didn't work. By 9 a.m., her supervisor's voicemail was waiting. Elena, the board saw the video. We have to place you on immediate unpaid leave pending investigation. Don't come in today.
Job gone.
Reputation gone. Privacy gone. At 11:47 a.m., an unknown number called. Elena almost let it ring out, but something made her answer.
Elena Marquez.
The woman's voice was calm, professional, lightly accented. My name is Dr. Park Soo-jin. I work at the Korean Cultural Center downtown. We need to talk.
Today.
Golden Lotus Cafe, noon. Come alone. How do you know my name? Everyone knows your name right now. Please. Your daughter's life depends on it. The line went dead. Elena stared at the phone. Same words as the card. She dressed quickly. Oversized hoodie, sunglasses, hair twisted up under a cap. Anything to hide. Rosa tried to stop her at the door. You're walking into a trap. Maybe. But sitting here waiting for them to knock is worse. Golden Lotus Cafe sat under a green awning in Little Saigon, the air thick with star anise and fish sauce. Inside, old men played jangi, aunties gossiped over iced coffee. Elena was the only black woman in the place. Heads turned. Phones lifted. She kept her eyes down. A woman in the back corner raised one manicured hand. Mid-50s, sharp cheekbones, silver streaking her black bun, wire-rimmed glasses. She looked like somebody's favorite professor. Ms. Marquez. Thank you for coming. Elena slid into the booth. You said my daughter's life depends on it. Talk. Dr. Park pushed a thin folder across the table. Everything in here will sound insane. But you already know some of it's real. Elena opened it. Ancient parchment, Hangul characters, English translation underneath. The Covenant of the Solar Order. Established 1374. A sacred pact between the First Mother and the chosen bloodlines of Joseon to preserve her vessel until the final sun carrier is found. Elena's mouth went dry. Is this some kind of cult? Older than cults. Richer than governments. They call themselves the Solar Order. For 700 years, they've been hunting women who can transfer raw life force through blood or milk. They call us sun carriers. You are one. Elena laughed, short and bitter. I'm a nurse from the projects. I'm nobody. You brought a man back from death last night. On camera. That makes you the rarest nobody on earth. Dr. Park turned the page. A family tree. At the bottom, circled in red. Jean Tae-woo. Jean Min-jun. Bonded to Elena Marquez. Carrier potential confirmed. Elena felt the floor drop out. Min-jun. Lila's father. The man who disappeared without a word when she was 6 months pregnant. He's part of this? He was sent to find you, Dr. Park said softly. His older brother Tae-woo runs the search now. The man you saved last night? That was Tae-woo testing you. You passed. Elena's voice cracked. Why me? Because your great-grandmother was a root worker in the Dominican Republic. Stories say she could lay hands and heal. The gift skips, hides, then blazes up again. It blazed in you. What do they want? To finish what they started in 1374. Their founder, the First Mother, is not dead.
She's preserved.
They need one final surge of pure, freely given life force to bring her all the way back. They believe if they control her, they control the balance between worlds. And if I say no, they take Lila. Half-blood carriers are even stronger. They'll raise her, drain her slowly, keep the line going forever. Elena's hands curled into fists. They'll have to kill me first. They're prepared to do that too. Dr. Park leaned forward. I was you 22 years ago. They took my daughter when she was 8. I've spent every day since trying to burn them down from the inside. I can get you and Lila out of the city tonight. New names. Money. A life. Elena stared at the family tree, at Minjun's name linked to hers like a brand. All this time, she thought left because he was scared of fatherhood. He left because loved her too much to deliver her to his family. I'm not running, Elena said finally. Not yet. Dr. Park's eyes filled. Then you'll die screaming. Maybe. But I'll die on my feet. Elena stood, left the folder, walked out into the brutal noon sun, already feeling the mark on her chest beginning to warm again. 4:13 p.m. Elena stood outside the apartment building, hood up, watching black SUVs idle at the curb. Men in suits, earpieces, mirrored shades. They weren't even pretending to hide. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Elena. The voice hit her like a fist to the chest. Minjun.
Alive.
Older. Broken glass in his throat. Don't meet my brother tonight. Don't meet Dr. Park again. Meet me. Sunset Pier Park. 6 p.m. Where we used to watch the sunset. Please. I can still fix this. How do I know it's you? A pause. Then soft. The night Lila was born, I stood outside your hospital room. You were crying happy tears and you told her, you are my miracle and nobody will ever take you from me. I heard you. I've been watching ever since, trying to keep you both safe. I failed. Let me try one more time. The line went dead. Elena looked at the obsidian card in her shaking hand. 47 hours, 11 minutes. She had 2 meetings left today. One with the man who abandoned her. One with the man who pretended to die in her arms. And 24 hours after that, the Eclipse Theater. She kissed Lila's sleeping forehead, whispered, Mommy's coming back. I promise. Then she walked toward whatever was waiting at the pier, heart hammering so hard she was sure the whole city could hear it. Sunset Pier Park smelled like river water and fried dough. The same bench where Minjun once fed her kimbap and told her his dreams. He was already there. Older. Hair longer, pulled back. Traditional golden hanbok under a thin hoodie, like he couldn't decide which world he belonged to anymore. When he saw her, his face crumpled. Elena. He reached for her. She stepped back. 5 minutes, she said. Explain. All of it. He nodded, eyes wet. My real name is Jean Minjun. My family has served the Solar Order for 15 generations. I was sent to Port Clement University to study and to hunt. They had a list of women with the marker. Your name was on it. Elena felt sick. So, every I love you is a lie? No, his voice cracked. That part was real. That part is why I'm dead to them now. When I found out you were pregnant, I went to my brother and begged him to call it off.
He laughed.
Said the child would be even more valuable.
So I ran.
Been running ever since. Why didn't you tell me? Because if you knew, you'd never have let me near you again. And I couldn't stay away. He pulled a small jade pendant from his pocket. The one he gave her on their 6-month anniversary. I dug it out of your trash the day I left. Kept it against my heart every day since. Elena's eyes burned. You stalked me. I protected you. Bought you a year. But Taewoo's impatient. Last night was his final test. You passed with flying colors. What happens now? They'll come for Lila. Tonight or tomorrow. I have new passports.
Cash.
A car 3 blocks away. We can be in Canada by dawn. Start over. Please, Elena. Let me fix this. She stared at him. The man loved her enough to betray his blood. The man who still broke her heart. Her phone buzzed. Unknown. We see the traitor. Walk away in 30 seconds or we take you both. She showed him the screen. His face went white. They're here. Black SUVs rolled slow down the park road, headlights off. Elena looked at the only man she ever loved and said, I'm not running with you. I'm not running at all. Elena, I'm going to that theater tomorrow night. And I'm ending this. She turned and walked away as 4 men in suits grabbed Minjun and dragged him into the shadows. 8 p.m. Hanley Street again. Jean Taewoo waited under the streetlight in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Elena's yearly salary. No more rags. No more pretending. He smiled when he saw her. You came. You said you had something that belongs to me. He gestured to a black Maybach purring at the curb. It's inside. But first, let us speak as equals. Elena stayed on the sidewalk. Speak here. Taewoo's smile didn't waver. You are magnificent. Stronger than any carrier in 2 centuries. My brother was supposed to bring you in gently. He chose love instead. Weakness. I choose legacy. He stepped closer. Elena felt the air thicken, like the pressure before a storm. Lila will be raised as royalty. You can be at her side, or you can be drained and discarded. Your choice. Elena laughed, low and dangerous. You think I scare you with suits and money? No, he said softly. I scare you with the truth. He raised one hand. Suddenly, Elena couldn't breathe. The warmth in her chest compressed, folded in on itself, crushing. She dropped to her knees, gasping. Taewoo knelt in front of her. Feel that? That's me holding your gift in my fist. I can take it any time I want. Elena clawed at her throat. Behind Taewoo, Minjun appeared, blade flashing, but 3 enforcers tackled him before he could strike. Taewoo never looked away from Elena. Last chance. Something inside her snapped, not broke, snapped open. The pressure exploded outward. Golden light roared from Elena's body like a solar flare. Windows shattered 2 blocks away. Car alarms screamed. Taewoo flew 10 feet and slammed into the Maybach, denting the door. Elena rose slowly, glowing so bright the streetlights dimmed. Her voice came out doubled, human and something vast. Touch my daughter, and I burn your entire world to ash. She turned and walked away, light trailing behind her like a comet tail. Didn't look back when Taewoo screamed into his phone for backup. 10:47 p.m. Elena burst into her mother's apartment. Empty. No note. No struggle. Rosa had listened. She and Lila were gone. Relief and terror crashed over her at once.
Her phone rang.
Unknown number. Elena answered, already knowing. Elena Marquez. The voice purred. Ancient, female, ancient, amused. You put on quite the show tonight. Who is this? The woman in your boyfriend's family has spent 7 centuries trying to resurrect. Spoiler, I never actually died. I've been sipping stolen sunlight for 700 years, getting stronger with every carrier they drained. But stolen power fades. Freely given power? That's eternal. Elena's blood turned to ice. Where's my daughter? Safe.
For now.
Tomorrow night, Eclipse Theater, 9 p.m. Bring your gift as an offering. Do it willingly, and I give you my word Lila grows up free, untouched. Refuse, and the Order will hunt her for the rest of her very long life. The line went dead. Elena looked at the obsidian card. 23 hours, 47 minutes. She walked to the window, pulled back the curtain. Down in the street stood Jean Taewoo, Dr. Park Soo-jin with duct tape over her mouth, Minjun on his knees bleeding, and 40 robed figures in perfect rows. All of them staring up at her window. Not moving. Just watching. Waiting. Elena let the curtain fall. The golden mark on her chest flared like a second heart. She whispered to the dark apartment, to the city, to whatever ancient thing listened. You want a sacrifice? You're about to get into a war. The apartment was too quiet without Lila's soft breathing. Elena stood in the middle of the living room, chest still glowing faintly under her hoodie, the mark pulsing like it had its own heartbeat. Every light in the place was on. Shadows felt safer when they couldn't hide. She kept replaying the voice on the phone, ancient, amused, patient. Freely given power is eternal. She hated how reasonable it sounded. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A video message from an unknown number. She almost didn't open it.
She did.
The screen filled with Rosa's terrified face, duct tape over her mouth, eyes wide and wet. Behind her, a stone wall carved with old Korean characters. The camera panned down to Lila in a small wooden crib, fast asleep, tiny fists curled by her cheeks. Then the first mother's voice again, velvet and venom. Insurance, little son. Your mother disobeyed and tried to run with the child. Now they're both guests of the order until tomorrow night. Behave and they stay breathing. The video ended.
Elena screamed.
Not words, just pure animal rage that rattled the windows. Gold light flared so bright the overhead bulb exploded in a shower of sparks. She dropped to her knees, palms on the floor, trying to breathe through the fire in her veins. When she looked up, the obsidian card was floating an inch above the coffee table, spinning slowly. The countdown now read, 22 hours 03 minutes. A knock at the door. 3 sharp raps.
Elena froze.
Another 3. She crept to the peephole. Jean Minjun stood in the hallway, face bruised, lips split, one eye swelling shut. Alone. She cracked the door, the chain still on. How did you get away? They let me go, he rasped. Taewoo wants me to convince you to come willingly. Said if I fail again, he starts cutting pieces off your mother on live feed. Elena unchained the door and yanked him inside. He stumbled, caught himself on the wall. I'm sorry, he said immediately. I'm so sorry. Save it. She locked the door again. Tell me how to kill them. He laughed, a broken sound. You don't kill the Solar Order. You survive them. Not good enough. She grabbed his shirt, slammed him against the door. Gold flared in her irises. Tell me everything or I'll start taking pieces off you right now. Minjun's eyes filled. Okay. They sat on the couch like strangers. He talked fast. The Eclipse Theater isn't just a building. It's the mouth. Under the stage is a cistern built in 1928, lined with obsidian and gold. That's where they've kept her body for almost 100 years in this country. Before that, it traveled by ship from Seoul. Tomorrow night is the lunar eclipse. The veil is thinnest. They need you to walk in, place your hands on the sarcophagus, and say the binding words. Willing sacrifice. Then she wakes up wearing your skin, or drinks you dry, and walks out on her own. And if I don't say the words, they'll force you. Or they'll use Lila. A baby's consent isn't required. Elena's stomach lurched. How many of them will be there? 70, maybe more. Plus the inner circle. My brother commands them all now. She stared at him. You said you had a car, money, passports.
Elite.
They took everything. Then what good are you? He reached into his torn jacket, pulled out a small silk pouch. I opened it. Inside lay 7 dull iron nails, each carved with hangul. My mother's nails, he said quietly. From her own coffin. Iron forged during a solar eclipse. Old magic. One of these in the heart of a possessed vessel disrupts the binding. If you can get close enough to the sarcophagus, drive one in before she fully wakes. Will it kill her? It will trap her again. For another few centuries, maybe forever. Elena took the pouch. The nails were cold as winter. Why give me these now? Because if you die tomorrow, at least take the bitch with you. He reached for her hand. She let him hold it this time. I loved you, he whispered. I still do. That part was never a mission. I know, she said. That's why it hurts so bad. They stayed like that until the sky outside turned bruised purple with dawn. 6:12 a.m. Elena hadn't slept. She stood at the kitchen sink drinking water straight from the tap when her phone lit up again. This time a live feed request. She accepted. Jean Taewoo's face filled the screen, perfect suit, perfect smile. Behind him, Rosa sat bound to a chair, tears cutting clean lines through the dirt on her cheeks. Lila was in her arms now, awake and fussing. Good morning, Elena. Sleep well? Let them go. After the ceremony, you have my word. Your word is worth less than dirt. He chuckled. Bring the traitor if you want. We'll be waiting either way. 9 p.m., don't be late. The feed cut to black. Elena looked at Minjun asleep on the couch, chest rising and falling. She walked over, gently lifted the silk pouch from his pocket, and slipped out the door without waking him. 7:45 a.m. Golden Lotus Cafe again. Dr. Park Soo-jin was already there, eyes red from crying, wrists rubbed raw from rope. They grabbed me after you left yesterday, she said without greeting. Made me call you, made me lie.
I'm sorry.
Elena slid into the booth. They have my mother and my daughter. I know. Park's voice broke. They have mine too. She's 30 now. I haven't touched her since she was 10. Elena placed the pouch of iron nails on the table between them. Help me end this tonight. Park stared at the nails, then at Elena's glowing chest. You're stronger than I ever was, she whispered. Maybe strong enough. She pulled a folded paper from her coat, old parchment, edges burned. The binding words in Old Korean. And the counter words. If you speak these 3 breaths before she rises fully, the gate slams shut. Elena memorized them in 30 seconds. The characters burned themselves behind her eyes like brands. What happens to me if I say the counter words? You burn out. Every drop of sunlight leaves you. You'll live, maybe, but you'll never carry again. You'll be normal.
Elena lauged, sharp.
Normal sounds pretty good right now. Park reached across the table, gripped Elena's wrist. They'll try to break you first. They'll show you Lila screaming. They'll hurt your mother in front of you. Don't listen. Don't give in. Wait until the exact moment the moon turns red. That's when the veil is thinnest and the nails will bite deepest.
Elena nodded.
Park's eyes filled again. Tell my daughter, if you see her, tell her I never stopped. I will. Elena lied. She was done making promises she might not keep.
Noon.
Elena walked the streets like a ghost. Every screen in every bodega, every bus stop, every phone on the subway played the same clip. Her on her knees, golden light, the stranger rising. New captions now. Black Madonna saves homeless man. Cult leader or miracle. Baby mama glow up challenge. She kept her hood up, kept moving. Stopped at a botanica in the Dominican part of town. Bought Florida water, cascarilla, a white candle, a red candle, and a small machete blessed by Santeria priests. The old woman behind the counter looked at the glowing mark peeking above Elena's collarbone and crossed herself. Careful, Mija. Some fires don't go out. 3 p.m. Elena sat on a park bench feeding pigeons, rehearsing the counter words under her breath. A shadow fell over her. She looked up. Jean Tae-woo stood there, flanked by 2 silent enforcers. He held Lila in his arms. The baby reached for her instinctively, then froze. She's beautiful, he said softly. Looks like my mother. Give her to me.
Can't.
But I brought you something. He shifted the baby just enough for Elena to see the tiny golden cuff locked around Lila's ankle, glowing faintly. Tracker and leash. She tries to leave the city. It burns. She feels pain. You feel pain. Motivation. Elena's voice was pure ice. I'm going to enjoy killing you.
Tae smiled.
See you tonight. He walked away. Lila started crying the second he turned the corner. Elena felt the echo in her own chest like a knife.
6 p.m.
Back at the apartment, Minjun was gone. A single note on the counter. They took me again.
I'm sorry.
Use the nails. I love you both. Elena crumpled the note, screamed until her throat bled gold light. 8:15 p.m. She stood in front of the mirror, dressed all in white like a bride or a corpse. The mark on her chest blazed so bright it lit the room. She tucked the 7 iron nails into a silk pouch tied around her waist. The machete went down the back of her jeans. She kissed the photo of Lila on the fridge. Then she walked out into the night. The Eclipse Theater loomed downtown, an Art Deco corpse of a building boarded up since the 80s. Tonight, every board was gone. Golden torches lined the steps. Robed figures stood guard like statues. Elena walked straight up the middle. No one stopped her. They parted like she was already queen. Inside, the lobby was gutted, candles everywhere, the smell of incense and blood. A path of white flower petals led to the auditorium doors. She followed it. The theater itself had been transformed. Rows of seats removed. In the center of the stage, a black stone sarcophagus lid carved with suns and moons. Around it, 70 robed figures in perfect concentric circles. At the 4 cardinal points, Jean Tae-woo, Dr. Park Soo-jin gagged, Minjun on his knees bleeding, and Rosa, bound and gagged, tears streaming. In the very center, on a raised dais, lay Lila in a golden crib, still wearing the glowing cuff. The first mother's voice filled the theater. No microphone, just everywhere. "Welcome, little son. You're early. I like punctuality." Elena stepped onto the stage. Every robed figure knelt as one. Only Tae-woo remained standing. He smiled like a proud brother. "Place your hands on the stone," he said gently. "Say the words. Save your family. Become a legend." Elena looked at Rose's terrified eyes, at Minjun's broken face, begging her not to, at Lila reaching tiny fists toward her, confused and hungry. She walked forward slowly to the sarcophagus. The stone was warm. She could feel the thing inside it stirring, stretching, hungry. Tae-woo began chanting in Old Korean. The circles joined in. The air thickened until breathing felt like drowning. Elena placed both palms on the lid. The chanting crescendoed. She closed her eyes and whispered the counterwords Dr. Park had taught her. Silence. Then the sarcophagus exploded open. The lid of the sarcophagus blasted upward in a column of black fire and golden sparks. A sound like every church bell in the world cracking at once filled the theater. The first mother rose. She was tall, impossibly tall, skin the color of moonlight on bone, hair floating like black flame. Eyes pure molten gold, no pupils. She wore a hanbok made of living sunlight that hurt to look at directly. Every robed figure dropped flat to the floor in worship. Tae-woo's mouth hung open in awe. The first mother looked straight at Elena and smiled with too many teeth. "You spoke the counterwords," she said, voice layered with 1,000 dead women. "Clever girl. But you're still here. Still touching my coffin. Still giving." She reached out one long pale hand. Elena felt the pull, like her soul was being vacuumed through her palms. Gold light poured out of her chest in a thick stream, feeding the creature.
Elena screamed.
The iron nails burned white-hot against her hip. She yanked the pouch free, grabbed one nail, and slammed it straight into the first mother's open palm. The creature shrieked. The sound shattered every remaining window in the building. Black blood hissed where the iron touched her skin. The golden stream reversed, snapping back into Elena's body like a rubber band.
Tae-woo lunged. "No."
Elena spun, caught him by the throat with her glowing hand. His eyes widened in terror.
She squeezed.
Light poured into him. Too much. Too fast. His skin cracked like porcelain, gold leaking from the seams. He dropped, smoking, lifeless. The circles of robed figures surged to their feet, chanting faster, trying to rebind the ritual. Elena pulled the machete from her waistband. The first swing took the head off the nearest enforcer. Second cleaved the golden cuff from Lila's ankle. The baby wailed. Rosa broke free of her rope somehow, mother's adrenaline, and scrambled for the stage, snatching Lila into her arms. Minjun crawled toward them, leaving a trail of blood.
"Elena."
"The heart. You have to hit the heart." The first mother laughed, wounds already closing. "You think 7 little nails can hold me? I have drunk oceans of sunlight." Elena looked at the remaining 6 nails in her hand, then at the sarcophagus, then at her daughter. She knew what she had to do. "Everybody get out," she roared.
Rosa hesitated. "Minjun kapheam. Go. Now."
They ran, Rosa clutching Lila, Minjun limping behind. Elena faced the first mother alone. "You want freely given power?" Elena said, voice calm now.
"Fine."
"Take it all." She dropped the machete, opened her arms wide. The mark on her chest exploded into a second sun. Every drop of light she had ever carried, every ounce of life force that had ever flowed through her veins, every bit of love she felt for Lila, she pushed it outward in one voluntary, unstoppable torrent. The first mother's eyes widened in greedy ecstasy. She opened her mouth and drank. The theater began to collapse. Beams cracked. The ceiling groaned. Gold fire roared between the two women like a living bridge. Elena felt her knees buckle, felt her heartbeat slow, felt the gift leaving her forever. But she kept pushing. The first mother began to glow too bright, Too full, skin splitting, light leaking from her eyes, her mouth, her wounds. She clawed at her own chest, trying to stop drinking, but Elena wouldn't let go. You said freely given is eternal, Elena whispered, voice raw. So take it. Take every forever I have. The first mother screamed one last time, a sound that shattered the obsidian sarcophagus into dust. Then she detonated. A silent golden blast wave rolled outward, gentle as sunrise, strong as judgment. Every robed figure in the theater dropped unconscious, unharmed but emptied. The building stood, somehow, but every candle went out at once. Elena collapsed to her knees in the center of the ruined stage. Silence. Footsteps running. Minjun slid to his knees beside her, tears cutting clean lines through the blood on his face. Elena, talk to me. She tried to smile. Couldn't feel her fingers. Is Lila? She's perfect. Rosa has her. They're safe. The glow under Elena's skin was gone. The mark on her chest, just a faint scar now. She felt empty, human, wonderfully, horribly human. Minjun gathered her into his arms. You did it, he whispered. You burned her out of existence. You broke the line. Sirens in the distance. Red and blue lights, painting the broken windows. Elena closed her eyes. Tell Lila, she rasped. Tell her mommy came back. Just a little later than promised. She passed out to the sound of her daughter crying her name from somewhere far away. Epilogue 3 months later. A small house in Tennessee. Porch swing creaking in the evening heat. Lila, now 14 months old, chased fireflies across the grass, laughing like bells. Rosa watched from the steps, rosary in one hand, sweet tea in the other, smiling for the first time in years. Elena sat beside her mother, thinner, quieter, no glow left under her skin. She still worked nights at a clinic, still came home smelling like antiseptic and hope. Some nights, she woke up crying, feeling phantom milk let down, remembering the weight of galaxies, leaving her body. Minjun lived in the guest room. He cooked breakfast every morning, changed diapers without being asked, and never once tried to touch her unless she reached first. Some wounds take longer than others. One night Elena found an envelope on the kitchen table. Inside, a single black card, plain white this time.
No obsidian. No countdown.
Just 4 words in Minjun's handwriting. The sun still rises. Thank you for giving it back to us. She smiled, folded the card, and slipped it into the baby book next to Lila's first lock of hair. Outside, fireflies danced like tiny golden hearts. Inside, a mother rocked her daughter to sleep, ordinary, exhausted, unbroken. And somewhere very far away, in the dark between stars, something ancient and hungry turned over in its sleep, and dreamed of milk it would never taste again. If you enjoyed this wild ride, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me your favorite moment, share it with somebody who loves messy, beautiful, scary stories, and subscribe so you never miss the next one. Thank you for staying till the end. I love y'all. See you in the next story.